FIFA's ticket launch made millions of people stressed, hopeful, excited, and annoyed all at the same time. But this didn't happen by accident. Today, let's talk about what business owners can learn from FIFA about demand, trust, and control. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I help business owners use digital media to build their business faster. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss any of my content. Now, you might be wondering right off the bat, what in the world does FIFA and its ticket sales have to do with digital media? Well, in fact, any major artist or organization that is hosting major events employs every single aspect of digital media when they are trying to get the word out to their customers. This has been the case for years. And in fact, small business owners like you and me can learn a lot of lessons from watching what these bigger players are doing. Now, even if we are not large enough to be able to employ all of these tactics, there are some things that you can observe so that you can apply them into your own business strategies. Now, considering that the World Cup is the world's most anticipated and highly watched event, even more than the Olympics, we actually have a lot to learn from how FIFA released its ticket sales and how that continues to be progressing. So we're going to try to gain some strategies from there so that we can apply them to our own business. Let's jump right into it. Now, the first thing to consider is that FIFA didn't just release tickets once. Instead, they created momentum. Their ticket sales and their launch of the ticket sales has been spread out over multiple phases, which means that people don't just get into the excitement and then start to lose their interest or have fatigue from watching all of this. Instead, as each phase opens up, that draw, it creates more hope and excitement and it reignites the entire conversation. This is the same logic behind the Olympic ticket sales or major tours like the Taylor Swift Eras tours. They don't just reignite your interest once and then close the doors in your face. Instead, they keep launching new sets of ticket sales and new draws and new things that keep going right up until the last minute, right until the doors open for their events. This keeps people in the loop and makes them continue to feel hopeful that they can actually snag these tickets. Now, basically what we can learn from this is that demand has a lifespan. Most small business owners ignore this and instead they open their doors to their new launch and then they push hard, they close their doors and then they go dormant and silent. So instead of that, what we can learn from FIFA especially is that having different phases to your launch or to your tickets or to your open doors can actually create a lot of interest that is prolonged and ongoing. Each phase gives people a chance to continue to be in the game and creates that momentum where they want to keep coming back to check and see if they have a chance. This means, in fact, that small business owners can stop treating sales like a single moment because that's not really the case. So what does translate well is having multiple buying windows, have clear messaging about when the next opportunity is, and have re-entry points for people who missed the first round. On the other hand, things that don't work so well are like dragging things out when interest is low or creating delays without any clear reason for it. Remember, momentum only works when people already care. It can't replace demand. The next thing to look at is that the FIFA lottery system was meant to create fairness, but in fact it took away control. So the whole idea of FIFA's draws that they've spanned out in 5 different phases was to avoid things like bots coming and buying all the tickets or people with millions of dollars being the only ones that can access tickets and all of that. It was meant to be a draw so that it would just be fair for everyone. But in the end, what that did was it made people feel powerless because in fact, you couldn't just wake up and choose to go buy tickets. You had to be in a big pool and then just hope and pray that your name would be selected to have an opportunity then. That type of emotional distance is why there's been a lot of frustration around FIFA ticket sales. Consider the fact that people don't mind being filtered. When you buy tickets to something, there is some type of a filtering system. Either the tickets might be out of your price range and you can only buy them if you can afford a certain budget, or the seats that you want might not be available. All of that is logical and people are used to that. But what people don't like is feeling powerless. Now, applications, waitlist approvals, that can all work, but it only works for business owners like you and me if the criteria is clearly explained, people know what helps them get in, and the process feels collaborative and not secretive. Mysterious ways of getting tickets or getting in the door or being a part of something really only works for mega events like this or for organizations that can afford to do something like this. But for you and me or small business owners, it doesn't really work for relationship building, where the client or that audience needs to feel that they also have some control in the process and that it's not just left up to the mystery gods. Another thing to think about is that high prices have worked for FIFA because FIFA has already done the work to create meaning around it. Millions of people around the world, including myself, have it on our bucket list to be able to attend a World Cup game. So even though prices have been astronomical for FIFA tickets, they're still selling. People are still buying them. People are signing up by the millions to get into the draw, to get an opportunity to buy them. And this is not uncommon. Think about Super Bowl tickets or Olympics tickets. All of these tickets are in the thousands of dollars, and it's not like these are empty audiences or empty stadiums. These things are selling out because they carry an emotional weight behind them. They are known to be events that are considered irreplaceable moments in a person's life. And so because of that, people will pay up for them. But small business owners and even mid-sized business owners can't always afford to play this game. Now, the takeaway here for small business owners is never just to charge more. It is to spend the time in your business to create an irreplaceable moment or a feeling for your audience. This is why brand building and personal brand building is such a big deal. Nowadays, price is not the first criteria that people use when they buy. It's more about how that thing or how that experience makes them feel. Does it feel to them like they have gotten something that they just can't get anywhere else? This is the work that a small business owner has to do before even raising prices, especially in today's day and age where there is so much competition between small businesses and within industries and niches. You can't really afford to just jack up your prices and hope that everyone will just come, assuming that you are a premium offer. Your fans and your audience will do their due diligence and check around to see what others are offering and how other organizations and other businesses make them feel so that they can make their buying decision accordingly. Another thing to consider is how the process design affects how people talk about you and your brand. One thing that is going to go down in history with FIFA's ticket launch and these 5 phases of ticket draws that they've had is how complicated the process was. This is the one thing that everyone is saying about it, how annoying it is that they have to jump through so many hoops and they can't figure out which website to go to and where to click and whether they should keep waiting or if the draw is over or what is going on. So that type of thing is a very controlled system, and FIFA has intentionally set it up like that. But I'm not sure if you and me as business owners could afford to play that game. At the end of all of this, many people are talking more about how complicated the process was rather than focusing on the fact that FIFA is coming and we're almost there and all these amazing games that are going to be happening. This also happens with other major concerts. Ticketmaster sometimes releases a bunch of tickets, the bots go and buy up everything, it becomes a very complex system, and remembering all of those crashes and the waiting line and the fees, those become the things that the audience remembers instead of remembering the artists. Meanwhile, other brands like Apple do the opposite. Their product launches are very controlled, very simple. Their sales cycles are very, very predictable, and people know that they can just wait for this premium offer and then just go and buy it. There's not a lot of confusion or complication around it. For smaller business owners like you and me, remember that scarcity and complication does not equal professionalism. A smooth system can quietly build trust. And the worst is when friction becomes a part of your reputation. You want your clients and your audience to remember how easy it was to buy from you, how delighted they felt by the process, and how simple the entire thing was. You can still do this with a very controlled and predictable system rather than using chaos as the driving motivation behind trying to sell your offer. And one thing that FIFA did really well that I think every business owner can adopt is that they got people committed before they ever spent their first dollar. Right from the first get-go, they were asking people to sign up for their wait list, add their name to a draw, start choosing their matches. So they basically got millions of people around the world invested in attending a World Cup game ever before they had a ticket in their hand. All of us, myself included, have been actively and eagerly following all of these different stages of the ticket launch. And we've already started envisioning ourselves sitting in a seat watching a game, even though we don't actually have a ticket in our hands. This was a brilliant move on FIFA's part, and there's many lessons there that small business owners can also adopt. For example, we can have a wait list for some of our programs just so that we can get people to commit in some way. Just by them adding their names to a wait list, it makes them feel like now they are waiting for something, and it gives us an idea of how many people are actually interested in this thing that we're about to launch. We can even ask people to reserve their spot instead of right away paying for their offer. Now, of course, this requires a lot of strategy and you have to be very confident that they'll finally buy in the end. But these type of maneuvers actually make people feel like they are ready to raise their hand to you, even though they haven't actually spent $1 with you first. Take them on a little bit of a journey and make them experience what it is that they will get when they work with you. Make them feel like they are already kind of in your world and a part of your system. And then, of course, handing over their credit card is really just a formality at the end of all of this. I have to say that Instagram stories is actually a really good place to do this. And this is why out of all of my different social selling places and platforms, stories ranks number one. Because when you post regularly to Instagram stories, you are basically taking people along with your brand just through everyday life. People feel like they know you, they almost feel like you're their next door neighbor, and that they are somehow interested and invested in the things that you are doing. Then when you start moving the conversation into different products and offers that you have, they feel like they're kind of already in the game, that they already know you, and it's a no-brainer to just kind of work alongside you then. So remember, when you are employing these type of tactics, then ethics is everything. Don't be promising things that you can't deliver. If somebody has raised their hands to you or committed in any non-monetary way, it means that they have put their trust in you to continue that process in a way that's not complicated or confusing to them. They've already taken the biggest first step, so now the ball is in your court to be able to make the rest of the process smooth and easy for them. Now, FIFA has proven this year that you can control demand, pricing, and access, but the way that people feel during the process can sometimes last even longer than the product itself. So business owners like you and me can instead try to follow some of the strategy and leave all the frustration behind. So if you like this video, I hope that you will give it a like, share it off with one of your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, because every single Tuesday, I bring you a new video teaching you how you can add digital media to your business. So until next time, take care.